China. There's
Chain
not
gun
enough
upgrade
build
is complete.
space. We will live in prosperity. I built for China.
Unit lost.
General Fay versus General Alexander, but I can't build any units, so that means no units from the command center, supply center, barracks, war factory, airfield. Now, supply trucks that spawn from supply centers are allowed, and minigunner drops are allowed too, because we're not building those from those production buildings. Now, on with the battle. So General Alexander likes to do an A-10 strike right off the bat. It triggers around the 120 mark. So normally you'd build a few supply center scaffolds to bait it out. I'm not going to do that though. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to move my dozer towards the artillery platform. Now you're probably wondering, okay, well, what are you thinking with that? Because the artillery platform is just going to hit you anyway. No, what we're going to do is we're going to build a couple of Gatling cannon scaffolds, and then we're going to go back to base. So with that, the A-10s are going to get triggered and they're going to go for the artillery platform, but downside is it's going to trigger a Chinook into dropping some units into my base. So I've got to really get some Gatling cannons on the go here because they're going to aim mainly at my command center. So just like that, art platform is down. Now the Chinook is going to drop any minute now, and those units are mainly going to be Rangers and Rocket Troopers. There is a Chinook that comes in on the left side of my base, and usually that one's going to have a Pathfinder and a sentry drone in the mix, but this is not too bad. We can just use the Gatling cannon to pick off all those Rangers and Rocket Troops there, so no big deal. And next thing we want to do is a supply center. So I have improved with my supply center placement since the China 3 Deathless video, and now my supply trucks are hardly moving when they gather the resources for me. So that does mean that I'm going to get more resources faster. Now, if I was playing a bit more optimally, I would build a second truck, but since I'm restricting myself from building any more units, I would have to build another supply center to get that second truck to optimize it. So right now we've got second reactor. That's just so we can keep ourselves online as well for when we get our other GATs on the go. Now, thing is, because we took out the art platform, I've got free reign over this new section where the resources are as well, but I don't want to build another supply center just yet. I want to build as many GATs as possible because there's going to be an attack involving Comanches. So with that, I want to get like 3 or so Gatling cannons, that way they can pick off the Comanches before they reach my base. That was the plan going into it. And the 2 scaffolds that we got, those are mainly going to be bait for bombers and Comanches. If we can just slow them down as much as possible. See, because we're not building units, the spendage isn't going to be too big. So we can afford to splurge a little bit here and there on scaffolds. So here come the Comanches. So I had one GAT do a bit of chip damage. She didn't take the bait and go for my scaffold, so I couldn't slow them down. But the GAT that we got at main base was able to pick off those 3 because of all of that chip damage, just going for the weakest Comanche each time. Now with our dozer, we're going to keep building GATs at this section. That way, when the bombers and the next wave of Comanches come, I can just pick them off easily. Either when they're approaching my base or on their return flight to the airfield. And the bombers here, they do give out quite a lot of EXP, and we want the EXP to get to the minigunner drop as well as the artillery barrage.
Building is complete.
I'd attack if I were you, General. If you wait, then I'll just have one more superweapon to fire at you.
So I noticed that the particle cannon was coming soon, and I ended up putting up a barracks scaffold, and I also put up some Gatling cannon scaffolds. So the barracks scaffold, normally her first particle cannon would go for a barracks, but in this case it went for the supply center. I assume that's probably because the supply center was a little bit closer to her base. It's sort of like a distance thing. Normally when I would build supply centers at that other resource pile where the art platform is, she would aim for that, just based on the distance. Now, as for the Gatling cannon scaffolds, that was simply a bait out for the A10 strike that's coming. So she'll normally do particle cannons, and then shortly after, the A10s will trigger. And you want to have a good bit of land so then you can safely bait it out and the A10s won't hit any of your other stuff. So I've got the supply center up again, and now I know the next wave of particle cannons will aim for that supply center specifically, because it's closer to where she is. And because we've done it that way, I've got my first truck to gather the resources. You know, may as well put it to good use. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting. So I decide to do some scaffolds to bait, and I'm building new GATs. The one that I've already got is at 1 HP, so I know that a Comanche or a bomber will take it out pretty easily. Now by building more defense at main base, it's going to trigger those bombers into attacking me. So that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. Good because we can get more EXP out of it. Bad because we're most likely going to lose our command center as a result. So she didn't take the bait here, and so I decide, okay, well, may as well just cancel these scaffolds as well. And one of the Comanches did slip past all of my defense, so I'm like, okay, that's not good. I'm gonna lose that reactor, but I need to get another GAT up very soon so then I can pick it off. But the Comanche decided to try and go back to main base, which is good because it's just going to fly into my other 3 Gatling cannons. So with that, we did gain a lot of EXP, but yeah, the loss of the command center, I mean, it's usually inevitable for me. I always end up losing my command center when I go up against General Alexander. So it does mean that I'll have to find the time to build another one. And I wasn't paying attention to the timer, and yeah, she got the drop on me, and she started particle cannoning me. So I lost the reactor, I lost the supply center. Normally, if I was more prepared, I would sell those buildings off maybe about 5 seconds before they fire. And what I also did was I did some Gatling cannon scaffolds near the one I was building, hoping that that would be enough to bait out the A10 strike that's going to come after the particle cannons. So thankfully the bait out was successful, and I tried doing another bait out with Gatling cannon scaffolds, hoping that I can restore some level of defense, because it means that, like, if she attacks me and with the Comanches and they slip past, then I'm gonna be kind of screwed. So I did get that rank 3, so I got level 2 art and I got level 1 minigunner drop. But problem is, I don't have a command center. And I did try and cancel out some of those scaffolds, I just wasn't quick enough to do it. But like I was saying before, the spendage isn't going to be too bad. Money is not tight, especially since we're going to use the minigunner drop as well to capture the oil derricks. And we haven't even gotten the cash pile that's where the oil derricks are. That's like a $2,500 cash pile. So just like that, we got 5 minigunners to help defend us, but we're also going to use that one to capture those 2 oil derricks. Now I used my level 2 art to destroy the supply center, because if you destroy the supply center then destroy the war factory or the airfield, she can no longer rebuild those. Now obviously the next target is going to be the airfield, that way we can knock out the bombers and the Comanches. Since we got that rank 3, we can afford to slow down our EXP growth by taking out the airfield later on, because we can always just do attacks on some Avengers and stuff like that to get the EXP up that way.
Building is complete, China. Nice location.
We are the Red Guard. China can use this.
We will live in prosperity. A very good plan, General.
So I'm trying to bring back my defense at the main base, but with that it means I'm risking my dozer with the Aurora bombers. So I think what I could have done instead in this moment was maybe I could have held off on building defense. Maybe I could have waited on the artillery barrage to be ready again. Now, Alexander's going to fire another batch of particle cannons. This time, one's going to hit the supply center scaffold that I put up, and two are going to fire together on my reactor. Now, because I haven't advanced my tech tree to war factory and prop center, those two particle cannons will fire together on each of my reactors. Or I could also do a reactor scaffold to bait it out as well. Now, with the dozer, I moved him out of the way because that was going to be the bait for the A-10 strike that's coming. And now that the particle cannons are finished, I'm going to go for a war factory next. So with war factory, I can't build any units, but I can get the chain gun upgrade, which will increase the odds of the Gatling cannons picking off those Comanches, as well as the bombers too when they make their return flight back to the airfield.
Where do you want these?
Now, we did have a bomber take out my two supply trucks gathering the resources. So I had a third supply truck that was at the second set of resources, and I kept him there as a spare just in case this would happen. Now, optimally, you want to have two trucks gathering the resources. So that's another reason why I didn't have the third truck in the mix getting those resources too, because it wouldn't really add much to the speed of gathering those resources.
Looks like you're losing, General. Now, what did I say about planning to fail?
The building, sir.
Construction is complete. China. There's
Chain
not
gun
enough
upgrade
build
is complete.
space.
So with our dozer, we managed to get one GAT up, and I was going to go for another reactor because we were in the yellow, but I noticed that we could do another GAT, and this is where we lost our dozer. So we do have chain guns, which is able to take out the bombers more easily, but with that, I was like, oh, well, what do I do? I mean, I'm kind of screwed here. That was my thought process right after it happened, and then I was like, let's play on. Actually, I think I might have a shot at beating her here because she's allowed me to get a level 2 minigunner drop and a level 2 artillery barrage. So in theory, she shouldn't be able to beat me from this point because of the number of options that she has. So I ended up using my level 2 minigunner drop at the particle cannon on the right. Now, reason for that is, one, I was hoping to pick off the Avengers and maybe some rocket troopers in that firebase, but more importantly, the particle cannon, if you keep your minigunners or whatever infantry next to the particle cannon, she will actually sell off the particle cannon. So if you hear her make a cackle, if you hear her cackle, then she's selling off her particle cannon. And that's a good thing, because that particle cannon specifically is the one that would aim for barracks and supply center. Now, the one that's furthest north, that's the one that usually goes for like tech buildings, and then the one that's in the middle, where that airfield is, that would normally go for like war factories and arms dealers. So that's the pattern that I am very familiar with, especially playing as the GLA generals. But yeah, when you play as like America or China, you got to think, okay, well, one's going to go for a barracks, the other's going to go for a reactor, and that's usually the pattern she takes when you're playing as those factions with reactors. Thankfully, we still had minigunners to help defend our base as well, and the particle cannons are coming. So in this case, I know that she's going to hit a reactor as well as my war factory, so that much is for sure. Now, what this means is that the particle cannons will eventually run out of targets to hit. So I mentioned earlier on that she's only going to have so many moves that she can make, and with that, she can only use the particle cannons, the A-10 strike, the Chinook sneak attacks, and then she's got a few Comanches patrolling the map still. So that's only 4 things. But with the particle cannons, once she runs out of things that she's scripted to attack, then those particle cannons will no longer fire. Now, with the A-10 strike, because we're using minigunner paradrops, it means that she's never going to run out of targets. And that's a good thing, because that means the A-10s aren't going to destroy me. It's really the Chinook sneak attacks, that's the real X factor here. So, with our minigunners, we did a paradrop where the oil derrick is, and there goes those 3 patrolling Comanches I mentioned earlier. So just like that, that's 1 option down, so she's only got 3 options left to beat me. Now, I end up capturing this oil derrick, not because we need the money, it's more so for targeting. I was thinking maybe she could do an A10 on the oil derrick, so that's the thing, we're just trying to increase the number of targets for those A10 strikes. And then that way she'll never win. And then there's the particle cannons, again going for reactors, so that's one of those scripted targets. And I think the only thing left is the supply center. She won't go for my barracks though. I end up using my artillery on the power plants. I should have gone for the war factory or the Avengers near the war factory. That would have probably helped with getting the EXP, because we want to get to rank 5. With rank 5 we've got access to level 3 art, we've got carpet bomb, EMP, level 3 minigunner drop, so there's a lot of good stuff that can happen. But I need to get to rank 5, and the only way to get to rank 5 now is by attacking her.
Do you even have any tactics, General?
Unit lost.
So I decide to get my minigunners to this top left corner. Now, I know the patrolling Comanches are no longer in the picture, so I can take out these Avengers, and I probably just could have captured this artillery platform, but I end up destroying it, so it does take a little while for us to get there, but we do get it. But yeah, eventually, once it's destroyed, there's like two or three more Avengers in this top left corner. Here we go with the mouse movements, and that's going to generate more and more EXP, just getting us to that rank 5. Okay, here comes the next batch of particle cannons, and as you can see, they're not firing. They have no targets. So that's what I was saying, is like the one that we took out on the right side, that's usually scripted to go for barracks and supply centers, but I'm pretty sure we still have our supply center, so she's never going to destroy that unless she does an A10 strike on it. So now I do artillery, and I was like, oh damn it, I should have used it on the Avengers, not the War Factory. But yeah, we do take out the War Factory. Level 2 art is usually enough to take out most buildings. And yeah, we've got a huge cluster of Avengers, but still no rank 5. And I'm like, okay, well, what else does she have? What can I take out to get us over the line here? So I'm looking around the map. I was like, okay, maybe this Patriot over here. Maybe I can take that out. Nope, no luck there. And I was like, what haven't I destroyed? What's around? And then I was like, oh, we haven't destroyed the Avengers over here yet. We can just do that. And that's actually really good for me, because I can also bring those minigunners back to main base later on to help defend the base. Because, like I said, the Chinook sneak attack, that's the X factor. That's the one thing that could destroy me still. If she can destroy my command center, we're toast. But that Chinook sneak attack is the only way where that would happen, because the A10 strikes, they usually factor out super weapons and command centers. Because I've had battles against Alexander where she's literally used A10 strikes on like a single rebel, and while I've got a perfectly good command center standing tall, so yeah, she does factor those things out. So yeah, I capped that oil derrick just to use as a distraction. Again, we don't need the cash because I can't build anything, so we're just going to keep generating cash until we're, you know, rich as f***. So with the minigunners, I decide to group them up in lots of 2 to help defend. I get 2 of them to join the other 3 that's near the command center. Again, I'm just trying to make sure I've got enough defense for if a Chinook does sneak into my base. Now, the one that goes on the left, that's got the Pathfinder. The one that is going to appear near the water, that will have the Rangers and the missile defenders, just like before at the very beginning of the battle. Now, I wasn't sure what to use my general points on, and that's why I held off on getting level 3 art, and I was like, okay, well, let's see if level 2 art is enough to destroy a Patriot and an artillery platform. It's not enough. And then I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I think I'm gonna have to get the level 3 artillery platform, because artillery barrage, so then I can take out the platforms. I went for level 3 minigunner drop. I think that might not have been the best choice. I think I probably could have sacrificed the extra minigunners just so I could get Carper Bomb and the EMP pulse as well.
Lost.
That probably would have been the best move that I could make. And yeah, with this minigunner drop, I was trying my best to find that sweet spot to try and keep them alive. And yeah, we sort of get there, but yeah, we do lose quite a lot of them.
Lost.
Yes. Horrid devil. We will shoot them down.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir. Attack! The people are attacking our base.
I'd like to say good fight, but clearly your mind wasn't in it, General.
So A10 came in, finally destroyed the supply center, not that we need it. So now the A10 strikes, they're basically going to be stuck attacking minigunners and my Gatling cannons that are offline. Now I've got one minigunner left standing tall against these Avengers, and I kind of got annoyed at hearing the, you know, that sound when your unit or your building keeps getting attacked. I was getting sick of that, so I was like, okay, let's just go in and kill these guys. So that's exactly what we did. And just making sure I don't trigger the Patriots. And just like that, all those Avengers are out of the game. So I use my my art on the Patriot and the platform here. Because it's level 3, I know it's going to take it out. See, the platforms are the real problem with this part of the mission, because I'm gonna lose them. I'm gonna lose the minigunners if I'm not careful.
We are the Red Guard.
So I try another minigunner drop. I was trying to be a bit more careful with the placement, just so I can keep these guys alive and not let them die as they land. And I'm just trying to think of my next target with the Carper Bomb. So the Carper Bomb here, like, I chose that over EMP Pulse because, like, I need to do damage to Alexander. I need to break her defense. And it's a 2-minute 30 timer on it, so I'm going to get a lot more consistency out of a Carper Bomb compared to an EMP Pulse, because the EMP Pulse is like a 6-minute timer. Yes, you are going to be able to disable those Patriots, but you're going to have to combo it off with the artillery or a Carper Bomb or a minigunner drop if you're trying to, like, go and capture the command center, for example. So yeah, I saw more usability out of a Carper Bomb. But yeah, this is also a reason why I was thinking maybe I could have sacrificed level 3 minigunner drop for level 2. Maybe I could have gone with 10 minigunners and gone with a EMP Pulse as well. That might have worked much better. Yep, so I'm using the Carper Bomb again on that Patriot there. I'm just trying to take out as many Patriots as possible. That way the flight path is more clear for the minigunner drop and future Carper Bombs that we do. So here's where we get into some mistakes. So I used the minigunner drop at the command center, and if you capture the command center, they can draw the fire of the Patriots as well as the art platform. Now, reason why this is a mistake is because the art platform can still hit the minigunners from here. So there was some, like, hesitation and mistakes in the way I moved the minigunners around, for sure. And as a result, it does cost me the capture. See, I'm left with 2 guys, and after a bit of hesitation, I go for the cap on the command center. The minigunner that's in the red right now, I should have just kept him standing here, but I chose to move him out of the way. That was so dumb of me. If I just left him in that one spot, I think I would have been able to capture the command center at this point in time. But yeah, couldn't get it, and we're back to the drawing board. But as a result, I knew for a fact that if the art platform wasn't there, then I could get the cap off with the next go round. So in the meantime, I use the carpet bomb, take out another Patriot by using the weight of a plane. And then we're just waiting on our next set of general powers to be ready to finish her off.
I attack if I were you, General. If you make it, then I'll just have one more super weapon fire at you.
So this time we do the smart thing. We use the artillery barrage on her platform. That takes that out, and now I know I've got a much better chance at capping her command center. And I use the minigunner drop a little bit after that barrage. That way I don't lose anyone. But like, we are still going to lose some minigunners to the Patriots. And another thing is, by the with the first minigunner paradrop, we did keep one of those dozers nearby. It does mean she will build another one, of course, but if we can keep the dozers close to the command center, we can then take out the dozers roughly at the same time, and then she won't be able to rebuild. Now, she doesn't rebuild her command center. So with that, if you can get rid of the dozers, then we can also prevent her from rebuilding power plants, because she does rebuild power plants. So yeah, one of these dozers was a little bit silly. It decided to go right to where my minigunner is, so I got minigunners shooting the dozer. Meanwhile, there's still one more that's just chilling out, not even moving, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this is going to be our best shot to take out the dozer, so let's go for it.
Army's elite. On the go.
China is under attack!
Unit lost.
Special forces here.
Our power is low.
Always prepared.
Yeah, my minigunners and my rangers weren't enough, so I'm sending in the next batch. Meanwhile, I got one guy that's just chilling there. I thought he was out of range of the Patriots, but I was kind of wrong about that one. He does eventually get taken out, so that wasn't my best choice. And then we got 2 rangers barely surviving, and I was thinking, okay, let's try and find some cover for these guys, and then we can use those guys later on for capturing stuff. Now with the carpet bomb, I decided to go for the fire base, as well as a little bit of damage on the art platform. The fire base is a problem because it's also got the rocket troops as well, so we're going to get rid of that. The fire base itself is going to do a lot of damage to minigunners, so that's not the best matchup for me. Beautiful. And you also got to keep in mind the command center that got taken out means that she's no longer going to do the A-10 strikes on me, so just like that, she's lost another option to try and beat me. So yeah, that really does... I don't even know if she could still do those Chinook sneak attacks by this point, if she needs the command center, or if she needed the supply center to make it work. Not sure. And yeah, I was just being silly with this range. I was like, yeah, well, let's see, maybe it'll be in range. I know it's not. Usually you need a rocket troop to get that power plant that's perched next to the particle cannons there. So with that, because I got no rocket troops in this battle, it means that the only way to actually get to those power plants is with the barrage or the carpet bomb.
Ready for action.
So barrage will work just fine. Carpet bomb, I probably will need to shut the power down in order for it to reach.
Our power is low.
Yep, so I let her destroy my power plant. That way I could generate 2 more ranges. So power plants generate 2 ranges. Barracks is like 2. War factories are like 5. Command centers are like 10. So yeah, it's always a specific number of ranges that you would get. I usually, like, if I'm destroying war factories to get ranges, I usually prefer doing that. Just because war factories build kind of quick. Now, I did the minigunner drop roughly in the same place to join the other guys, and I decided to go for it. I thought, okay, we've got to take out this platform here. If we take that out, we could get the cap off on the other power plants, and then we should be able to take her offline by this stage of the game. Then I use my artillery barrage, take out some power plants. So yeah, really just hoping that I can send her offline, and I did capture one of the power plants to distract one of the Patriots too, so that's going to lessen the heat on these minigunners attacking now. Good. So just like that, I can go for the capture on these 3 reactors, and I'm just hoping that this is going to be enough to send her offline. And I do use my carpet to get one of those perched power plants as well. I probably could have gone for the 3 that are parallel to the minigunners. That would have sent her offline, but I figure just to save time, we'll take out this one that's perched, because there's going to be no other way for me to take it out. So thankfully that was enough to send her offline, and then we can capture these 3, and that should be the game, or so I thought. I was like, okay, well, what else has she got? And then I'm like, oh, she's still got 1 more power plant, and she's still got a strategy center. So I was like, okay, we're not quite done just yet. So yeah, overall, this battle wasn't too bad. I mean, even though we lost our dozer 15 minutes in, but that being said, I mean, like, what else could I really use the dozer for? I mean, sure, I could have probably used it to bait out more A-10 strikes and then keep my other buildings intact, but even so, I mean, you've seen that even without a dozer, you can still win as long as you've got those general powers working for you. So yeah, I think it went rather well. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but I'm kind of happy with this one.
Army's elite.
We are the Red Guard.
Need a point, man? Rally point confirmed.
Paying attention. Ready for orders. Cut through them! Moving now, sir.
Army's elite.
So with that, because I know the minigunners are faster, I decided to run them towards the strat center. We're going to capture that, and that's going to be how I beat General Alexander without building any units and without using a dozer 15 minutes into the battle. And it also means I didn't use any nuclear missiles, because I mean, you've seen some of my battles. I usually do have to resort to super weapons in order to win, but this is one of the times where you don't need the super weapons. Anyways, I'm Crackler. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my other 0-hour challenges. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this one. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bombardment.
We are victorious.
Oh, it's not fair. 1 more superweapon and I would have beaten you, General. Challenge me again. I dare you.